It is 6 p.m. We have a quorum, and this meeting has been duly posted. Good evening, and welcome to the monthly board meeting of the Dallas Independent School District Board of Trustees. If you'll please stand and join us for a moment of silence and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance and salute to the Texas flag. As we stand for a moment of silence, I'd like to take one moment to honor one of our educators that we lost this past week, Dr. Olga, who served as the principal of the Ida B. Wells Downtown Montessori School. We'll speak a little more on that later. The following trustees are present. District 1, Trustee Flores. District 2, Trustee Marshall. District 3, Trustee Mitchkay. District 4, Trustee Garcia. District 5, Trustee Johnson. District 6, Trustee Foreman. District 7, Trustee Mackey. District 8, Trustee Carrion. And our Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Michael Hinojosa, joins us, and I am Justin Henry, Board President. This meeting will be available simultaneously in Spanish and on social media through Dallas ISD en Español on Facebook and through the district's websites. Trustee Flores.
Esta reunión se va a transmitir simultáneamente en español a través de las redes sociales por Dallas ISD en Español en Facebook y en la página web del distrito. Gracias.
Thank you. On March 16th, Governor Greg Abbott granted a request by Attorney General Ken Paxton to temporarily suspend a limited number of open meetings laws to the extent necessary to allow telephonic and video conference meetings in response to COVID-19. In accordance with those suspended rules, we certify the following. A, notice of this meeting has been posted online for at least 72 hours. B, we have a quorum in attendance at this meeting, and other trustees may join us by video conference via Zoom. C, we are meeting by use of Zoom meeting software application, which allows two-way communication for members of the public. D, members of the public who have followed the instructions on the meeting notice for registering to speak during the public comment portion will be allowed to address the board for 3 minutes. E, all other meeting procedures will adhere to board-adopted procedures to the extent practicable. F, an audio recording of this meeting is being made and will be available to the public. G, we apologize in advance for any unforeseeable difficulties and ask for your patience as we navigate unprecedented conditions. H, if you have questions about these suspended laws, please call the Office of the Attorney General at 888-672-6787 or by email at at toma@oag.texas.gov. I also want to take this moment to welcome the Honorable Councilwoman Carolyn King Arnold, who's in the room with us tonight. Thank you for joining us. Trustees, there are no board recognitions. Therefore, we're going to move on to item 2.01, issuance of the certificate of elections. This is a special evening for the board. On January 23rd, 2020, the Board of Trustees called a general election in Districts 2, 6, and 8. On February 27, 2020, the board adopted the order to cancel the May 2nd, 2020 general election for District 6 and to certify the unopposed candidate elected as of May 2nd, 2020. On March 18, 2020, pursuant to Section 418.016 of the Texas Government Code, the governor issued a proclamation suspending certain provisions of the Texas Election Code and the Texas Water Code to allow all local political subdivisions that utilize the May 2nd, 2020 uniform election date to postpone their elections to the November 3rd, 2020 uniform election date without otherwise adjusting the term of office. On March 26, 2020, the board adopted the order to postpone the May 2nd, 2020 election to November 3rd, 2020, and on November 3rd, 2020, a general election was held. A call board meeting was held November 16, 2020 to canvass the election results of the November 3rd, 2020 election. As a result of the canvass, candidate Joyce Foreman was unopposed in District 6 and Joe Carrion was elected in District 8. A runoff election was held December 8, 2020 in District 2 between candidates Dustin Marshall and Nancy Rodriguez. A call board meeting was held today to canvass the results of the runoff election, and as a result of the canvass, Dustin Marshall received the majority of the votes cast. This evening, both Trustee Foreman and Trustee Marshall will be issued a statement of elected officer and the oath of office. This action is simply ceremonial for Trustee Foreman's Since she was officially sworn in on May 18, 2020, tonight's actions will constitute an official act for Trustee Marshall. During the ceremony, I will issue the certificate of election to both Trustee Joyce Foreman and Trustee Dustin Marshall. Each trustee has chosen a representative to issue the statement of elected officer and the oath of office to them. Trustee Foreman and Trustee Marshall, will you please join me at the front of the dais for the issuance of the certificate of election? This evening, I am proud to issue the certificate of election to Dustin Marshall, District 2, and Joyce Foreman, District 6. This certificate of election is to certify that Joyce Foreman was unopposed in District 6, and Dustin Marshall received the majority of votes cast in the runoff in District 2. With the issuance of these certificates, Trustee Joyce Foreman and Trustee Dustin Marshall are now eligible to qualify for office. Trustee Foreman, if you'll please remain standing at the front of the dais for the issuance of the statement of elected officer and the oath of office. Will the Honorable Councilwoman Kerr King Arnold please come forward to issue the statement of elected office?
How you gonna put your hand on the Bible?
My hand on the Bible.
So let me do this. Let me put this here.
Oh, hold it.
Hold up. I am delivering the statement of elected officer pursuant to the Texas State Constitution. Repeat after me, if you will. I, Joyce Foreman,
I, Joyce Foreman,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
or affirm
or affirm
that I have not directly
that I have not directly
or indirectly
or indirectly
paid,
paid,
offered,
offered,
promised to pay,
promised to pay,
contributed,
contributed,
or promised
or promised
to contribute
to contribute
any money
any money
or thing of value
or thing of value
or promised any public office
or promised any public office
or employment
or employment
for the giving
for the giving
or withholding
or withholding
of a vote
of a vote
at the election
at the election
at which I was elected
at which I was elected,
or as a reward
or as a reward
to secure my appointment
to secure my appointment
or confirmation,
or confirmation,
whichever the case may be.
whichever the case may be.
So help me God.
So help me God.
We will now proceed to the oath of office. Dallas Independent School District, once again, in the name and by the authority of the state of Texas, I render the oath of office. I,
I,
state your name,
Joyce Foreman,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
or affirm
or affirm
that I will faithfully
that I will faithfully
execute the duties
execute the duties
of the office of School Board Trustee
of the office of School Board Trustee
for the Dallas Independent School District
for the Dallas Independent School District
of the state of Texas,
of the state of Texas,
and will to the best of my ability
and will to the best of my ability
preserve,
preserve,
protect,
protect,
and defend
and defend
the Constitution
the Constitution
and laws of the United States
and laws of the United States
and of this state.
and of this state.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congrats again, Trustee Foreman, and thank you, Honorable Councilwoman Arnold. Trustee Marshall, if you'll please come forward. Trustee Marshall's father, the Honorable Ronald Bunch, who served the State Commission on Judicial Conduct, will issue the statement of elected officer and the oath of office.
Good evening. I'm here to, we'll start with the statement of elected officer to our newly re-elected trustee. Raise your right hand, please. I, Dustin Marshall,
I, Dustin Marshall,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I have not directly or indirectly
that I have not directly or indirectly
paid, offered, promised to pay,
paid, offered, or promised to pay,
contributed or promised to contribute
contributed, or promised to contribute
any money or thing of value,
any money or thing of value,
or promised any public office or employment
or promised any public office or employment
for the giving or withholding of a vote
for the giving or withholding of a vote
at the election at which I was elected,
at the election at which I was elected,
or as a reward to secure my appointment or confirmation,
or as a reward to secure my appointment or confirmation,
whichever the case may be, so help me God.
whichever the case may be, so help me God.
Thank you. Next, we'll have the oath of office. I, Dustin Marshall,
I, Dustin Marshall,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will faithfully execute the duties of the office of School Board Trustee
that I will faithfully execute the office and duties of School Board Trustee
for the Dallas Independent School District of the State of Texas,
for the Dallas Independent School District of the State of Texas,
and will, to the best of my ability,
and will, to the best of my ability,
preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution and laws of the United States
preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the laws of the United States
and of this state.
and of this state.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Bunch. On behalf of the board, I want to thank Honorable Councilwoman Carolyn King Arnold and the Honorable Ronald Bunch for participating in the ceremony this evening. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, please help me formally congratulate Trustee Foreman and Trustee Marshall. Trustee Foreman, would you like to have any comments?
Of course. First, I'd like to thank Dallas City Councilwoman District 4 Carolyn King Arnold. Ms. Arnold, as a former private school and public school teacher at Townview Magnet, you clearly understand the challenges that we are facing in the public school arena these days. I am most honored that you would administer the oath of office to me. Thank you to District 6 for another opportunity to serve. The District 6 constituents, parents, and students, I am honored to be your representative for another 3 years. While I did not have an opponent, I want to thank the voters of District 6 for their support, and also want to reach out to the people who have not supported me, because I know there is much work to be done. We must work together toward creating the best possible educational environment for our students. During these trying times, it is time to put the rhetoric, the partisanship, and the politics behind us for a better outcome for our communities and students. We must be intentional in our decisions, thoughtful and considerate, while interacting with stakeholders with respect as we work together for progress to benefit our students. The students, teachers, staff, parents, and community of Dallas Independent School District are depending on us to work to increase parental and teacher support and improve recruitment and retention of our teachers while closing the achievement gap. I can tell you, I am willing to do anything and everything to achieve our goals. Rome wasn't built in a day. I will work hard, as I have in the past, for our district. I commit to the citizens of Dallas to continue to question, demand accountability, and put students first while understanding the parents, community, and other interested parties. There is no question that there is still much work to be done, and I plan to stay on the front line, not just for District 6, but for all parties of the Dallas Independent School District. In the words of former First Lady Michelle Obama, if you're not willing to use your voice, give up your seat. I promise you, I will use my voice. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Foreman. Trustee Marshall would like to make some comments.
Yes, I'll be brief. Thank you, Mr. President. I first just want to thank my father, Ronald Bunch, for swearing me in today. It's a real honor to have you here and to have you play that role today for me. So thank you for making the trip, especially during these COVID times of social distance and isolation. I'm very honored by the opportunity to serve. Outside of being a husband and a father, serving on this school board has been the greatest pleasure of my life, and I've been pleased and personally, spiritually rewarded by playing a small part in the progress that we've made for kids over the last 4.5 years since I've been on this board. And I'm honored to have another 2.5 years to continue in that service. I want to thank the voters of District 2 for their support and their vote of confidence and their willingness to give me this opportunity to serve. And I want to thank my campaign team who devoted countless hours over 15 months, which I think makes this the longest campaign for any school board seat in the history of Texas, to ensure a victory. So I'm forever indebted to that team. I also want to thank my opponents, Nancy Rodriguez and Alex Enriquez, for their willingness to put their lives on hold to help children. And I want to reach out to their supporters to let them know that I want to be the best representative I can for all the families and kids of District 2. So please reach out, and share feedback, even if I may not always agree with it. I'm certainly there to listen. I also want to thank our teachers, our principals, our administrators who work hard every day to ensure that our kids have the best opportunity that we can give them. And lastly, I want to thank my family for their support. It's not easy to devote this much time to an unpaid volunteer position to help other people's kids. And it's critical that you have the support of a loving family who's willing to make some sacrifices of their own so that we can serve in these positions. And I'm very grateful to my wife, Denise, and to my children for making that sacrifice. Lastly, I just want to thank God for the opportunity, and I pledge to do my best and to make every decision in the best interest of children. Thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you, Trustee Marshall. Trustees, do you have any comments, or Dr. Hinojosa? Feel free to just...
I would like to thank both trustees. They often don't agree with each other, but they certainly care about this district. They both work very hard. They're very smart, and they've made us better. So to both of them, I want to give them a heartfelt thank you.
I'll echo those sentiments. I've only had the opportunity to be on this board for 1.5 years so far, but I got to watch board meetings even before that. And I think it's fitting that y'all often sit on opposite sides of the horseshoe right here. And a lot of times you might not agree. At the end of the day, I have learned so much from both of you and how you operate and how you work and how you do everything you do in service of children. I look forward to serving with you over the coming years and learning more from you all. So thank you all both for your service and congratulations.
I want to add my congratulations and thanks to both of you. I've enjoyed serving with you over these past several years, and I look forward to working with you further to advance the interests of our kids. Thank you.
And I also want to, share my congratulations for both of you. I think that
It says a lot that our citizens want to keep this board together and keep on working forward together with kids and having the experience at the board table to make the best decisions possible, especially during these trying times of COVID. So congratulations to you both, and I look forward to working with you. Thank you.
Yeah, to you both, you are both very strong, respected voices in your respective communities, and I am honored to get the opportunity to serve with you both. And just Justin specifically, I'm a little upset because for about a couple weeks there, I had the record for the longest school board race, and now it's you. So I don't appreciate being one up, but I'm happy you're here. Trustee Foreman, I'm excited to serve with you as well. Thank you. Congratulations to you both.
Again, as I echo my colleagues, congratulations to Trustee Foreman, Trustee Marshall. Trustee, we do a great work for our kids, and I'm glad to continue to serve with you as we continue to do great work for our kids. Congratulations once again.
I'll go, and Trustee Garcia, if you want to chime in, just feel free, given that you're in Zoom. To both Trustee Marshall and Trustee Foreman, it's an honor to serve with both of you. As some people have already mentioned, you're strong advocates for your respective community. You bring their voices to the table, both the parent and student aspect. I learned so much from both of you. So I just want to, again, say congratulations to you, and I think your communities have some strong, very smart, diligent folks representing their communities and bringing their voice to the table. So I look forward to continue to serve with both of you. Trustee Garcia?
Yes, and if you can hear me, to both of you, felicidades, congratulations. And I think Trustee Mackey said it perfectly. It's only been a year and a half that I've been on this board, but if there are colleagues that I often mention that I learn a lot from, it's from both of you. And if I haven't reached out to say it to you, as I did in the classroom, I learn a lot from observation, and I've always got my eyes on you because I really admire your skill set. I admire your dedication, and of course, your re-election. So thank you so much for what you do, and proud and excited to continue serving with you here in Dallas ISD. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Garcia.
Thank you, Mr. President. I will now move to the officer elections. Board members, this is the only time when the superintendent runs the meeting until a board president is elected. As we begin the vote, I want to point out that the first person to receive a majority vote ends the voting process for that particular position. Each nomination will be voted on separately, meaning that each trustee can vote for each nominee until a single candidate receives a majority of the votes. We'll ask people to raise their hands for the person being selected and nominated. Any questions about the process? Hearing none, do I have a nomination for the office of board president?
Mr. Chair, I hereby move that we renominate the existing slate of officers to finish out this term.
Is Faye here? Can I do that? Can I do the slate, or do we have to do them individually? Okay. Thank you very much. Is there any other nominations other than the current slate? Seeing none, this slate has been accepted by acclamation. I'll turn the meeting back over to you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Dr. Hinojosa. I want to kind of breeze through the meeting. I do want to make just quick remarks. I know we talked about Trustee Foreman and Trustee Marshall getting elected and how we enjoyed serving, but I just wanted to make a public statement that I enjoy serving with each and every individual on this board. We're very different for those that know any of us on any kind of level, but I think collectively we bring the right voices to the table and the right perspectives that allow us to have the correct tension to do the best for kids. So it's an honor to serve again through May, and we'll continue with the meeting. So we're on the reports, which is 3.01, Superintendent's Reports. Doc, you have the floor again.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the board. I only have one item. It's with a moment of sadness that we have the passing of Dr. Olga Kovalskaya. She was our dynamic principal at the downtown Montessori. She unfortunately lost her life. She was a medical doctor in her home country, and she wanted to be an educator. And not only was she an educator, she was a leader. And she learned the Montessori process through her campus at Mata, and then later became a leader and really helped launch this fantastic school for these young people in downtown Dallas that would be serving the entire community. So it's with a great deal of sadness that we acknowledge her and her family for what they have done for this community. Thank you very much. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Doc. We will go to Board of Trustee committee reports. Are there any committee reports? No? I'm sorry. So we'll go to trustee reports. I know we usually go 1 through 9. If y'all don't mind, I'd like to go first. Kind of piggybacking on what Dr. Hinojosa mentioned. I want to join Dr. Hinojosa in expressing my condolences first the family of Dr. Olga, but also the downtown Montessori community, the model school community, and just our general Montessori community throughout the district. It's been devastating news. I wasn't particularly close to Dr. Olga. We had multiple meetings, but Monday I had the privilege to spend a good amount of my day and my morning with her. And she really shared her love, not only for the kids at the school, and the kids showed their love for her, but just for the Montessori method. She was fully bought into the spirit of Maria Montessori and the Montessori method of teaching. She was fully bought in Ida B. Wells and the legacy that Ida B. Wells left for our nation. And she was effectively merging those at the downtown campus. And I mean, I can't communicate the passion and the radiance that came from her as she walked the campus. She beamed with pride. She showed me around the campus. She was an amazing educator. She'll be truly missed. So on behalf of District 9, we just want her family in the downtown Montessori and Mata, where she was before downtown, to know that you're all in our thoughts and prayers. And I appreciate my colleagues on the board for already reaching out in ways that we can support. I know the PTO at downtown Montessori is already beginning to raise funds for the family as they try to process this tragedy. And I will leave my accolades at that, and we can go around the table. Trustee Foreman.
These are the accolades for District 6. First of all, congratulations to young District 6 speakers who made it to the final MLK oratorical competition coming up in January. They are Herbert Cortland of Thomas L. Marsalis Elementary School and Nakia Levelston of Ronald E. McNair Elementary School. Know that your trustee is rooting for you to win. A big shout out to Carter High School Choir and Dance Group, which will perform The Angels Sang Hallelujah in the CBS 11 Christmas special, airing at 6 a.m. on Christmas Day. This is the third year of Dallas ISD has participated in the station's Christmas special, which is virtual this year. Thanks to all who joined the virtual District 6 Time to Learn Parent Forum. We really didn't have a lot of parents, but we do appreciate those that participated. And I'd like to end this with thanks to all of the principals, teachers, and staff for your diligence throughout this school year. We know that it has been difficult. I am wishing all of you and your families a happy and safe holiday. Thank you.
Good evening. We've got quite a few District 7 accolades. So first, I want to shout out L.O. Donald Elementary School and its community for coming together in the spirit of Christmas to decorate their fence with Christmas ornaments. And kudos for having this amazing activity featured on Fox 4 News. Well done. Congratulations to Molina High School for winning first place in the Dallas ISD Cheer Challenge 5A Division II. And congrats to Sunset High School for placing second in the Dallas ISD Cheer Challenge 5A Division I. Keep it up. I'd also like to recognize Hector P. Garcia Middle School for receiving one of the $50,000 Innovation Engine grants to become an international baccalaureate campus. And kudos to the other 20 neighborhood schools who will also pursue innovative programs and ideas. And I'm really excited for this because it puts the last piece on a network of IB schools from elementary through high school in District 7. So super excited about that. I'd like to shout out Sunset students Ivan Hernandez, Jair Ramirez, and Arlen Alvarez for winning places in the regional band competition. Jair Ramirez and Arlen Alvarez have advanced to auditions for a chance to make the state team. And finally, I would like to congratulate some of Adamson's first Collegiate Academy senior class on scholarships that are starting to roll in. We have Aaliyah Delgado, who's earned over $92,000 in scholarships. Vanessa Martinez, over $96,000. Kelsey Young, $96,000. Stephanie Vasquez at $72,000. And Martin Dominguez at $80,000 to continue their education next year. And I know this is only the beginning. So congratulations to those students and all of our other students and seniors across this district who are beginning to receive those life-changing offers. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, President Henry. First, I want to share our sorrow on the loss of the principal of the downtown Montessori school, and it has a connection to District 1 as she was a teacher at Marsh Middle School, and so her legacy continues to live through all our schools, and we're very sorry to hear for that loss and share that sorrow with her. I also want to thank the different communities in District 1 who have participated in our bond meetings to discuss improvements on their campus. We held community meetings, Zoom meetings, but community meetings all over the district. I want to thank the participation of the parents and families at DeGolyer Elementary School, at Marcus Elementary School, and I want to thank the principal in particular for welcoming me to his campus for that meeting. Withers Elementary School, and we also had a community meeting for the Thomas and New Walnut Hill Cary K-8 school. We were able to answer a lot of questions and get a lot of feedback about our plans moving forward, and so that we can engage them as part of the design process as we move forward with the replacement of two of these schools, an addition at Withers, and then, of course, the work that is ongoing at TJ and Walnut Hill. I also want to thank all the parents who participated in the Time to Learn meeting for District 1 to discuss plans to mitigate learning loss and accelerate student growth. I want to thank the administration for putting those together, and Derek Little in particular. He did a great job. And thank you for involving our families and teachers in the decision process. I think we provided a lot of valuable feedback to the administration so that we can face this challenge together. And then finally, on a really positive note, I want to, and I'm very pleased to announce, and want to congratulate Thomas Jefferson Principal Sandy Massey, who is going to be the 2020 Preston Hollow People Person of the Year. She will be on the front page of the January edition of Preston Hollow People, and we're very excited. Congratulations to Ms. Massey and on the entire Thomas Jefferson High School team for this amazing award. I actually have a photograph of what that's going to look like, and I'll pass it around to my fellow trustees, but we're very excited. And I also want to add my best wishes for this happy holiday season, albeit a little truncated through COVID, but nevertheless, thank you all, and, Merry Christmas.
Mr. President, I'll give the District 3 report. First, I'd like to congratulate the Bryan Adams Cheer Squad for winning first place in the 5A Division 1 of the third annual Cheer Challenge hosted by the Student Activities to mimic the UIL Spirit State Championship Finals. I'd also like to congratulate Karen Herrera and Melissa Caldera for being elected co-presidents of the Emma J. Conrad High School Student Council. In addition, I'd like to give special recognition to several of our Bryan Adams teachers who volunteered to participate in the experimental tests to develop the COVID-19 vaccine for Moderna. In particular, I'd like to recognize Diane Birdwell, Vickery Tillery, and Ramon Chavez. They participated in this trial back in July when no one really knew whether it would work or what the side effects would be, and just want to express my appreciation and the appreciation of the entire district for their willingness to step up on behalf of the community. There's a very good story on this, WFAA Channel 8 yesterday, and I would ask our communications department if they would be sure to post this on our website so that the entire district can see the report. And finally, I'd just like to wish everyone happy holidays. Thank you, Mr. President.
Trustee Garcia.
Good afternoon, everyone. For District 4, I'd like to start off by thanking Texas State Representative Carl Sherman, who toured Seagoville Middle School and shared his insight and wisdom with our students and staff. Thank you for your support, sir. Spruce High School rolled out a new reward program for students engaging both in person and virtually. Those students with high engagement in classes would be entered into a raffle where they can earn gift cards, school spirit and collegiate apparel, and other prizes. Along with that, Samuel High School Counseling Department hosted a virtual parent workshop where they spoke about the school programs, graduation plans, and shared valuable college information with our community. Thank you for those efforts, and as my colleagues have mentioned, happy holidays.
Thank you, Trustee Garcia. Trustee Johnson.
Happy holidays to all students, staff, members, and families in District 5 and across Dallas ISD. I want to send kudos to the students and staff at O.W. Holmes Humanities Communication Academy. This school offers students multiple opportunities to excel, and students continue to rise to the occasion. Their chess team advanced to the finals at the virtual chess tournament last week, and Jada Hines and Jacoran Christian were named team MVPs. Also, the school's football team won their game against Kennedy Carey. Both teams did well. O.W. Holmes is one of the district champions in District 5 and Dallas ISD, so way to go Tigers. Speaking of Kennedy Carey Middle School, the school was in the top spot last week in the virtual STEM Math Olympia eSports competition, and I want to encourage those students to continue to keep striving for excellence. Congratulations also to the Thomas Edison football team for their undefeated season. They too are city champions. Congratulations to the South Oak Cliff varsity football team for advancing to the second round of the playoffs. The Golden Bears will face the Frisco Raccoons on Friday, tomorrow, December 18th at 7:30 p.m. at Kincaid Stadium. I'd like to invite everyone to come out to support our Sock Bears. Thanks to all the community members and staff for participating in the District 5 virtual community meeting on Tuesday night as we focus on racial equity in Dallas ISD. We look forward to more opportunities to engage with the community on this important topic. Thank you again to Dr. Lear and her staff that did an excellent job. Look forward to the next meeting in January. Also want to thank Executive Director Washington for the invite to celebrate with the principals in the model of excellence. We had a great time, and thank you for all of your service. Also want to thank every teacher in Dallas ISD, every educator. We know that this has been a difficult time for you to work with this pandemic, and you guys have did a tremendous job. All of you are rock stars. And finally, I want to thank Dr. Henner Holster for his leadership during this pandemic. We know that these are unprecedented times we had to make decisions that was very difficult and hard, and so I want to give a major kudos to our superintendent for being flexible and making sure that our staff and kids are safe. Thank you.
I'll go give the District 8 accolades and report. I want to recognize Dallas ISD volunteers and partners honoree for outstanding business partner Taylor Farms for their generous contributions of more than $24,000 to purchase books, pay for field trips, and support a variety of projects at Eladio Martinez Learning Center. I also want to thank Maruf Dallas for providing Thanksgiving meals during the Thanksgiving break, obviously, for Ignacio Zaragoza Elementary School families. And I also want to congratulate the District 8 school winners for Campus Teacher of the Year. I've seen those come up on my social media feed. I want to congratulate each and every one of you. Your work and dedication to our students is seen and appreciated. And also shout out to Spence Middle School football team, who is also one of our district champions this year. Congratulations to them and to everyone here at the district and in District 8 and across our city. I also want to extend a happy holidays and a bright new year. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm excited to announce that as of November 30th, the long-awaited renovations at North Dallas High School are finally underway. So thank you to this board for approving the major overhaul with 2015 bond funds. I know everyone on campus is really excited. I also want to congratulate our District 2 Teachers of the Year. Thank you for your devotion, your dedication, and for inspiring our students to greatness even when the environment is more challenging than it's ever been. I want to congratulate the Buccaneer football team that finished the season undefeated and district champs, and also congrats to the North Dallas varsity cheerleaders for earning second place at the Dallas ISD Cheer Challenge on December 5th. Way to go. I want to shout out Mrs. Christina Herrera at North Dallas High School for being featured in a Dallas Morning News article on December 6th that focused on her dedication to staying healthy during the pandemic and her statement that her students' resiliency inspires her to keep going. Congratulations to Lakewood Elementary student Patrick Fitzgibbons, who became the spelling bee champion. Patrick will go on to compete in the district finals in January, and hope that he's victorious there. Want to congratulate North Dallas senior Elia Bookman, who was named newcomer of the year in ladies volleyball District 12-4A. Also seniors Rosa Olivio and Sofia Hernandez were named to the first team all-district, and Blanca Charkis and Leslie Armaburo were named to second team all-district. So congrats to those ladies. Lastly, on December 15th, the NAF Academy at North Dallas High School announced that they are able to participate in the 2020-21 Lenovo Scholar Network program. The NAF students involved in the program will also participate in a project-based competition focused on designing and developing a mobile app and a business plan for taking the app to market. So very exciting. Lastly, as my colleagues, I too want to wish everyone a very Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. And since I'm going last, I want to not forget my colleague who has stepped out of the room, unfortunately. Today is Dan Mitchke's birthday. And I think it's his 40th birthday, so I'm not entirely sure, but I think it's 40. So I was going to insist that we sing him happy birthday, but given that he stepped out of the room, I will put that on pause until he returns. So that concludes the District 2 remarks.
Thank you, Trustee Marshall. He might not return now. We'll see. I'm going to go ahead and share my accolades. City Lab, and maybe he'll be back by then. City Lab High School student Patricia Lopez has won $7,500 from the Impact Grant from North Texas chapter of the Association for Learning Environments for a proposal to build a Calm Pod space on campus. The Calm Pod will serve as a space where students can de-stress in times of emotional upsetness. A second City Lab student, Elchanan Geller, received an honorable mention for his proposal to repurpose a shipping container to distribute fresh food in an urban desert. I want to congratulate 3 District 9 students who have qualified for the finals of the 2021 MLK Oratory Competition. Gregory Anderson of Urban Park Elementary, Zoe Frazier of J.P. Starks Math, Science, and Technology Vanguard, and Jesse Washington of Charles Rice Elementary are among 8 finalists who appear at the finals to recite their original essays based on the teachings of Dr. King. The event will be live streamed at 11 a.m. on Friday, January 15th on the district website. I'm also proud to report that 3 District 9 campuses have received $50,000 innovation grants to grow innovative programs on their campuses. J.J. Rhodes and H.S. Thompson plan to expand STEM programs, along with Paul L. Dunbar Learning Center. Frank Gusick Elementary is seeking to become an IB campus. Kudos to the principals for stepping up to expand academic options for their students. I also want to give an athletics shout out to the Skyline High School, who won 21-14 over Sac C to become by-district champs, and they're going on to the area playoffs, where they will play tomorrow. I want to piggyback on what Trustee Mitch K said about our educators being willing to take the potential vaccine. They're already courageous enough in the classroom, but to go out there and put themselves out there physically to help solve a problem that's hurting all of our communities is admirable. Reiterate those names: Ramon Chavez, Vicky Tillery, and Talisa Spain, and Diane Birdwell. Those latter 2, I'd be negligent if I didn't say that they're both graduates of Skyline High School as well. And again, want to echo some of my sentiments to the colleagues on the board to recognize the Teachers of the Year who are teaching like all of our educators and staff. in the most unprecedented and difficult circumstances. So I hope they wear that with pride. It's well earned, and definitely want to acknowledge them publicly. Trustee Mitchell still not back in, so we'll just keep moving to our public forum segment of the meeting. Ms. Grant, will you please call the names of the speakers?
Our first speaker is George Rangel.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
My name is George Rangel, 334 Center Street, Dallas, Texas, 75208. I'm the Executive Vice President of Alliance AFT. Thank you for this opportunity to speak to you, President Henry, trustees, and Superintendent Hinojosa. I'm speaking on agenda item 8.10 for substitute increase. Because so much unpredictability now exists and is likely to continue, we are dealing with many more variables than usual that are beyond and individual teachers and support staff's control, causing absences. We're glad to see the district recognizing our substitute shortage and the fact that substitute pay needs to be adjusted, therefore taking the steps to address the compensation for substitutes. Accordingly, know that we have teachers and teacher assistants at the campuses that are and have been stepping up to cover classes. We propose that the rate for teachers and teacher assistants who cover classes when the teacher of record is not present to be considered in this compensation increase through June 30th, 2021. And it is our hope that this increase for substitute rates remains in the compensation package, including the current teacher and teacher assistants who cover classes when the teacher of record's not there. A year ago, we met with Chief Elizalde and discussed substitutes fill rates being low even then, and the need to increase compensation for said employees. We also discussed working together to build a group of retired teachers to fill the need. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. It is our hope that the district will sit with us to come up with ideas on how we can address this issue. The need to increase compensation for subs now and increasing compensation for current teachers and teacher assistants covering classes is just as important. This is our situation. An estimated 849 teachers have been placed in quarantine or isolation since September 17th. And on a weekly basis, we have a shortage of 121 teachers. We ask that you move to approve a daily rate in pay incentive for substitutes employees of $20 a day over and above the established 2021 substitute compensation rates through June 30th, 2021, and that you include the same for current teachers and teacher assistants covering classes. One last word of caution, the current employees' workload is unsustainable and is causing fatigue and burnout for all employees. Our hope is that in January, things change. We wish all of you a happy holiday break. Thank you for your time and your service. And Dan, we wish you a happy birthday. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Jesus Mendoza.
Can you hear me okay, ma'am?
Yes.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Jesus Mendoza. My telephone number is 956-583-7712. I have been homebound for more than 7 years with a light-threatening electrosensitivity, EHS, which is caused and aggravated by the same microwave radiation reaching children at school. I'm sleep deprived and in pain all the time. Every day is a different torture. This is a horrible way to die. It is estimated that without knowing, more than 50% of the population is already suffering symptoms of EHS. Children, teachers, doctors, attorneys, and even a director of the World Health Organization are suffering from EHS. See, wearetheevidence.org. Despite that EHS is reaching pandemic proportions, most doctors are in the dark or in denial and continue misdiagnosing and mistreating with harmful drugs and unnecessary invasive procedures symptoms that disappear with just reducing exposure to wireless radiation. On November 2016, the Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton admitted in open court that because of my life-threatening EHS, incarceration is for me a death sentence. And then in response to counter lawsuits, Paxton admitted that he attempted to enforce by incarceration fraudulent child support orders to conceal with my murder the collusion of the governor of Texas, Greg Abbott, with the Hidalgo County Criminal District Attorney Ricardo Rodriguez and with others on the attempts to conceal that a massive medical malpractice and a massive Medicaid and Medicare fraud are in use to conceal that the microwave radiation at school is causing children EHS and brain, blood, eye, nerve, heart, and DNA damage, and other catastrophic and irreversible harm and disabilities that defeat the purpose of education, and to conceal that exposure to microwave radiation is also maiming and torturing to dead teachers, firefighters, police officers, and other unsuspecting victims. Furthermore, evidence on the record proves how, under fabricated excuses on national security, Abbott, Paxton, and Rodriguez, in collusion with federal agents and prosecutors, engaged in other acts of domestic terrorism, including attempts to conceal that government-sponsored bullying are provoking children and the mentally disabled to commit mass shootings and other acts of terrorism, to justify the massive and harmful directed radiation surveillance of schools and even homes, as detailed by the petition to impeach 3 federal judges, by the relevant evidence to the Patrick Crucius case, and by the criminal complaint of domestic terrorism against Abbott, Paxton, Rodriguez, and others, submitted to federal authorities and posted on the case law section of wirelesswatchblog.org, wirelesswatchblog.org, because even low levels of microwave radiation breaks the blood-brain barrier to allow toxics on the bloodstream, including mercury, on vaccines to enter and damage the brain of children, and because of the impending mass vaccination of children, I respectfully invite school officials to use this information to protect our children. Our children cannot defend themselves from these atrocities. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for the opportunity, and happy holidays.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Christopher Wilkins.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Hi, everybody. My name is Christopher Wilkins. I live in zip code 75214. I am an Alliance and a vocal advocate for the closing of schools in Dallas ISD until we can have a systematically measurable, safe conditions across the board. And by this, I mean, by systematically measurable, safe conditions, I mean a return to virtual instructions until key metrics are met, which is 2 weeks of declining cases and less than 5% positivity rate. I stand with Alliance along with the CDC and Dallas County Health Services that the science is behind our effort to close in-person learning and resume virtual instruction. And why am I advocating for this? For several reasons. There are more contact tracers. While these measures are put in place, it is a slow process, and it means that we have potentially COVID-19 positive people at work spreading the virus unknowingly. Without knowing the potential of who is and who isn't exposed to the virus, they could also be spreading it at home. In my own community that I teach in, that means many older family members who are in immunocompromised positions could be affected. In fact, I've heard of 4 different grandparents of students at my own school who have died this semester so far from COVID-19. I don't know if it's correlated or not, but it is suspicious. I mean, all this is madness, and it really needs to stop. Also, we want a firm commitment that the district will cover emergency sick days for staff if the Family First Coronavirus Relief Act emergency sick day leave days are not extended past December. These days are important so that we can encourage sick individuals to simply stay home. On top of this health crisis, many teachers are out, forced to quarantine for 14 days, even if they are suspicious of having the virus. This means more substitutes. The district needs to offer substantial raises to subs and invest in recruiting quality candidates. At my own school, teachers, paras, and administrative staff are forced to cover more classrooms or have to double up in classrooms due to teachers being out and lack of substitutes. This is not helping contain or spread the virus. Contain the virus or stop it from being spread. And it further shows the madness of offering in-person instructions when we have a virus that spreads too quickly and it can be potentially so harmful. On top of all this, cases are continuing to rise in Dallas County with nearly 1,700 new cases as of December 14th, which makes it the deadliest week since the pandemic began. This, plus maxed out ICU capacity and the very likelihood that we'll experience another surge after the Christmas break, all means that it is imperative that we go back to virtual instruction after the break. It just seems that an even larger number of factors are simply beyond our control at this time. I could go on, but I believe my point has been made. And when in our country is the price of a human being's health and well-being going to be above a potential hit to the economy? I long for a world in which people's lives are worth exponentially more. Thank you for listening, and I wish you all a very safe and wonderful holiday. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Elizabeth Ferris.
Are you able to hear me?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Elizabeth Ferris, DISD teacher and AFT member, Dr. Hina Hosa, Board of Trustees. This evening, my intention was to speak on the mitigated learning loss proposals to address the detrimental effects of the pandemic on our children. I've been gathering data from national resources and industry leaders, as well as colleagues and parents who are stakeholders in the future of our district and our children's lives. My intention was to present a concise and impacting message informed by the stakeholders that would hopefully influence your actions and policy. Most evenings, though, I have stared at the piece of paper, blank, waiting for my words and compilation of information, and had nothing produced but notes and revisions and deleted lines. Not because there's not a wealth of information and cause I feel passionately for, but for an overwhelming sense of futility stemming from my experience over the years, and especially now, is that efforts to make a real difference in this district are to no avail. The district has created a mitigated learning loss committee and are holding meetings and focus groups, providing the appearance of interest in what stakeholders have to contribute and presenting proposals intending to intervene and turn around the detrimental effects of the pandemic has had on our students. I've been able to be a part of these meetings and provide my input. My understanding is that the feedback is compiled and reviewed, and then what? Past experiences tell me that while the district puts on the front of involving the teachers in these critical decisions directing our path, decisions have already been made and programs will exist based upon the decisions of a select few with an eye towards a political ramification, self-preservation, and self-interest, but not for what is ultimately in the best interest in the education of our children, nor with thought or consideration for those who teach them. William Glasser said teaching is difficult under the best of educational conditions, and this failure to take into account the needs of students or teachers makes what is already a hard job almost impossible. Any method of teaching that ignores the needs of the teachers or students is bound to fail. We are in a period within our educational journey unparalleled in the history of this nation. We have the opportunity as a district to implement the type of redesign and change that could impact the future of our children for generations and make Dallas the game changer for educational practices in this nation. But it can only happen if we have a vision for programs and pedagogy inspired by the stakeholders with a vested commitment to the fidelity and comprehensive implementation of the evolution of education. Vested commitment and evolution cannot happen, though, where faith is broken, and faith is broken, has been broken between you and our leadership and board and our stakeholders, your teachers. I challenge you tonight to make the commitment for restoration between our administration and those you serve. And yes, you serve the campuses, the teachers, the parents, and the students. Restore our faith and trust and stop the token focus groups where we talk with no seeming result and no continuation of work, and roll up your sleeves and come sit down at the table with us and let us do the real work based upon the vision and experiences of those on the campus, those who do the work every day, not the layers of administrators who have not manned a classroom in years or decades. If we were to do the great work of recovery of our students' learning and redesign how we do education, we must have the leadership that fosters a community of trust and respect. It does not exist at this time. Please come together with us and demonstrate the integrity and servitude that will restore relationship. Please come sit with us and work together to truly collaborate and create our children's future with regard for...
Our next speaker is Sheila Walker.
Hello?
You have 3 minutes to speak.
Okay. Good evening, Dr. Hinojosa, Board President Justin Henry, and Board Trustees. I'm Sheila Walker, President of NEA Dallas. I reside at 10707 Big Ticket Drive, Dallas, Texas, 75217. I want to thank the leadership team for giving an outstanding presentation on protocols and procedure as it relates to COVID-19 at the and the other employee concerns at the last employee organization committee meeting. It was stated that principals and nurses in the district have been properly trained when it comes to COVID-19. At NEA Dallas, we have some concerns when it comes to information being shared with the employees at the campus and other job sites. I know the district provided some templates for principals and other leaders to use for employees and parents if someone tested positive with the COVID-19 virus, but that is not being done throughout the district. When asked at the employee organization committee meeting if this was the proper procedure for principals and leaders to provide employees the letter if a positive case was left with, and I left with the understanding that it's up to the principals. I know that we don't have to give names, but at least campus workers or bus drivers or anybody that works at the campus should be alerted if someone is positive so we can feel safe. I understand that we don't want to alarm parents and we don't want to alarm people, but people's lives are in danger and people are dying every day. I think everyone should be doing the same thing at every work site. We all work for Dallas ISD and we're sending mixed messages when we're doing different things. Now, on a personal note, my grandson is a student in Dallas ISD, and his campus called my daughter to have him picked up because someone tested positive in his grade level. I won't call the name of the school, but I applaud this campus for informing the parents at all levels. My daughter, who also works in Dallas ISD at another campus, alerted her principal that she had to leave to pick up her son from school, and instead of the principals being concerned, the principal said that no one called her about this situation. Keep in mind that both schools are in have the same ED, and I assume the EDs is supposed to let the principals know at other schools that there's a shutdown at one other campus. Her principal also told her to send a copy of the letter stating that this was true. There's no reason for my daughter to have to make this up because we've lost family members to COVID, and this is a serious situation. The next day, my daughter kept the rest of her children home. My second grade grandson was yelled by his teacher. Why was he at home that day? He articulated very well to explain to his teacher that I'm at home because my brother was sent home to quarantine. Some people is taking this too lightly. We need to make sure that we're safe and stop bullying people and making them feel guilty for doing the right thing.
Thank you. Your time has expired. Our next speaker is Rosemary Kurtz.
Hi. Just before I started writing this speech today, I checked my social media. One of my Facebook friends, an Alliance AFT Union sister and amazing DISD teacher, was tagged in a Facebook status where her actual sister was asking for thoughts and prayers because my friend had been transferred to the ICU this morning due to ongoing breathing issues after being admitted to the hospital a few days ago with COVID-19. This DISD teacher is an otherwise healthy young woman with a family. Today, the regular staff news email, The Beat, advised me, don't let stress get to you. Wise words, but it's hard not to feel bitter when the main source of my stress, Dallas ISD, is the one telling me not to let stress get to me. There are a million ways that DISD is stressing me out, primarily by putting my life and the lives of my family and the students I care about in danger, but that's just part of it. Rather than take the guide to de-stressing that LifeWorks is offering, I'd like to give a few suggestions for what DISD can do to help me de-stress. These include, but are not limited to, Number 1, return to all virtual learning after winter break until Dallas is below a 5% positivity rate. Do what you said you'd do in August and file a lawsuit if they try to punish us for prioritizing our lives. Number 2, hold teachers harmless under TEI again this year. The case for this just keeps growing. Tonight, one item on the consent agenda is cancellation of the district ACPs this semester, which is a factor in our TEI scores. That's one part gone. Another factor is the student survey, many questions of which won't be applicable for our virtual students this year. That's another part gone. The STAR is not going to be required for students during remote learning, which is the overwhelming majority of high school students like mine. Thus, another aspect of TEI, the school STAR score, will not be able to be used effectively. Since the standards for attendance are so low right now, any interaction online, even if the student does not attend a Zoom class or complete work, means they are counted present, then many students who have not worked with any of the material will nevertheless have been present enough to hold the teacher accountable for their scores. The pieces of TEI are falling apart, and rather than continue to stress teachers out with confusion as to how our next year's pay will be determined, we need to just call it off. Number 3, promise teachers, especially those who are in their first or second year and do not have any TEI score, some kind of stipend or cost of living adjustment for next year. TEI is indisputably untenable right now, but that does not mean the district can allow teacher salaries to remain stagnant until the pandemic is over, especially since many teachers have extra expenses right now, such as childcare for their kids learning at home while they are forced to go into work. Teachers should lead by example for our students. We are not only supposed to teach our kids the curriculum, we also teach them good citizenship, honesty, compassion, common sense, and respect. How can we teach our kids all these great qualities when at the same time we are suggesting that they disregard advice from scientific experts, defy recommendations from county authorities to stay home, stay safe, and put their families, teachers, and communities at greater risk of a deadly or debilitating disease? How can I de-stress when my friends are in the hospital, my livelihood is up in the air, and my employer is modeling for young impressionable minds the exact way not to act during a crisis? Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Christine Elliott.
Hi, my name is Christine Elliott. I'm a high school teacher in Dallas ISD and a member of Alliance AFT. I have major concerns surrounding health and safety at our campuses and the decision to continue to prioritize standardized testing over the physical and emotional well-being of students and staff. As of Monday, cases in Dallas are continuing to rise, with last week being the deadliest so far. It's likely that cases will increase following the return from winter break. We maintain that the district needs to return to virtual learning until key case metrics are met, 2 weeks of declining cases or less than 5% positivity. Until then, we need the following measures in order to work safely and productively. 1, more contact tracers. It should not take 5 to 6 days for contact tracers to alert someone who may have had COVID-19. Slow tracing means we have potentially positive people spreading the virus. We need more contact tracers to improve district safety. 2, more substitutes. The district needs to offer substantial raises to substitutes and invest in recruitment. At our campuses, we are being asked to cover multiple classrooms, which are at times exceeding capacity. These situations greatly increase the chance of spreading and contracting the virus. 3, we need a commitment that the district will cover emergency sick days for staff if the Family First Coronavirus Relief Act is not extended past December. Not doing so will encourage sick individuals to come to work regardless. And finally, no in-person staff and faculty meetings. Many campuses are continuing to allow in-person meetings, and there's no reason for this. We have the technology to keep meetings virtual and keep everyone safe. Additionally, the district needs to reassess priorities concerning high-stakes testing and return to the hold harmless policy adopted in the spring. A large number of superintendents, including Dr. Hinojosa, successfully lobbied TEA to suspend A through F ratings for the 2020-2021 school year. If these ratings can be paused, why not individual teacher evaluations? We can't blame individuals for the detrimental effects of the current irresponsible leadership. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Patricia Doyle.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Good evening, Dr. Hinojosa and school board members. I speak to you tonight as an Alliance AFT executive board member, a physical therapist in the Dallas ISD Special Education Department, and a healthcare provider in Dallas. It's no news that the rate of COVID-19 spread is rampant and rising, and I am here to tell you that the district is contributing to those numbers. Every time I step into a school, I wonder if I've been exposed, despite all the safety measures I take, and here's why. Temperature checks are ineffective at identifying COVID-19 or even signs of illness. Many people carrying COVID-19 do not run fevers, and even fevers can be manipulated with enough Tylenol. Mask wearing is not always enforced, or masks are not worn properly. I am constantly asking not only students, but also staff and teachers to either put their mask on or to pull the mask over their nose. Wearing a mask below your nose is like wearing no mask at all. Social distancing is not consistent and often impossible. You cannot transfer a student out of a wheelchair from 6 feet away. Safety measures for contact tracing are poor at best. It is not for lack of effort, but rather because there are only 5 people doing contact tracing for the entire district. When my team lead informed health services of my exposure, they asked her to please let me know to begin our own contact tracing because there were already over 800 people ahead of me that needed to be contacted. That means many people go days before they even know they are potentially infected and may be spreading the virus for some time. Forms are difficult to find and the system breaks down frequently. I contacted health services to see if I needed to continue quarantine. They had no information that I had been exposed, despite the report from my team lead and the subsequent paperwork she filled out. Rapid tests are being promoted as a solution, but they are not effective at identifying asymptomatic or pre-symptomatic people. A rapid test only identifies antigen, and you may not have enough viral load to trigger a positive test. All tests need to be followed by a PCR if you suspect infection. I will remind you that the super spreader event at the White House, all those in attendance had negative rapid tests. Students come to school sick or exposed because their families need to work and need the school to provide childcare. Families continue to gather, students continue to socialize outside of school, and holiday travel is making it worse. We know many of our families will be gathering with people outside their homes and will be traveling, many out of the country. As a healthcare provider, I am begging you to help stem these cases. Return to virtual learning. The healthcare system cannot support the growing numbers. We have to do better or more people will die or become debilitated. In the coming years, we will see many more health and premature death of people who recovered from COVID-19. With your leadership, this doesn't have to happen. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Raina Honia.
Good evening, President Henry, trustees, and Dr. Hinojosa. I'm Rena Honey, President of Alliance AFT, and I'm addressing you on returning to work in January 2021 after a 2-week break. As I begin, thank you to the administration for the quick responses last week to voiced concerns regarding the untimely notifications to quarantine for employees. Dire situations were shared, and as a result, the telephone lines dropping calls have been addressed, and we now have more people assisting with the contact tracing. Thank you for listening and taking action. We've all watched with disappointment and anticipation the escalation in COVID-19 positivity rates, hospitalizations, and deaths in Dallas County and in Dallas ISD due to the coronavirus since the week of the Thanksgiving holidays. Our hearts and minds can't help can't help but know that returning to school in January after 2 weeks of no school will have effects on students and employees at least double what we've already experienced. Take steps now to petition TEA for a minimum 4 to 6 weeks of remote learning when schools resume in January until there's a clear picture of how the virus progresses once everyone returns. Our superintendent had the courage to implement distance learning last August, and it was good. That same courage and boldness is vital now as we anticipate the COVID rise after winter break. We learned from the governor today that educators will be in the second round of the vaccine disseminated. What does that look like for Dallas ISD employees? What are the plans in place for the distribution? How will the information be communicated so that everyone knows? Effective communication on remote learning and the vaccine are a must. Educators and true education advocates know that face-to-face instruction is far more effective and preferred over online learning, but not in the coronavirus world. Because illness and death is no respecter of persons, I believe that all of us would rather have students to teach and teachers to teach them. But that can't happen if they're in quarantine, isolation, in the hospital, or God forbid, dead. Let's continue refining the online learning best practices and finding new strategies to engage all students. But every facet of safety for all has to be the priority once again. Please do what is safe and right. Return to distance learning in January and notify employees before leaving for the winter break of those plans. Thank you for your consideration. May you and your families enjoy the upcoming holiday, whether it's Merry Christmas, Feliz Navidad, Happy Hanukkah, or Kwanzaa, but definitely Happy New Year to you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Maricela Zuniga.
Good evening, Superintendent Hinojosa, President Henry, Board of Trustees. My name is Maricela Zuniga, and I'm a pre-K teacher in Dallas ISD, an executive board member of Alliance AFT. There are many issues I would like to address tonight, but I'm too mentally exhausted. Every day I have to remember to sanitize every single time I interact with a child, and there is no way for me not to have contact with my students. I teach pre-K. I have to teach them how to hold a pencil, their scissors, help them with their iPads, tie their shoes, help them button up their jackets, etc. I am exhausted. I have to remember to keep 4-year-olds away from each other. Have you ever tried to do that? It's like living in the world of opposites. The more you tell them to socially distance, the more they want to be with each other. It is exhausting. This leads me to one of the issues that I would like to discuss, and that is the continuous rising cases of COVID, not just in Dallas County, but in our district. Back in October, we had 40 cases. As of today, we have had 2,159 cases that have been reported. As of last night, the county reported only having 29 ICU beds available. Despite all the precautions we take, we cannot control the public. And although they know they shouldn't, people are still going to gather over the holidays. This means the cases are going to continue to rise. I urge you to return to virtual learning after this holiday break to ensure the safety of your students and employees. Also, Dr. Hinojosa, you and several other superintendents signed to hold the districts at no harm. But what about everyone else? This has been one of the toughest years we have all had to face, not just in education, but the world. We have been in a global pandemic, and the district is acting as if it's been like any other year. We all have enough on our plates, and the last thing teachers need to worry about is TEI. All I ask is that you show the same compassion for your teachers that you want for the district. Hold us at no harm. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak. Good night. Happy holidays. I'm tired.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Jay Nam.
Hello, my name is Jay Nam. I'm an AFT member from Grand Prairie. This is a statement from a teacher in Dallas ISD, an Alliance AFT member who wanted to remain anonymous. Hello, Superintendent and Board. Once again, I'm here to speak on my concerns about COVID-19. I no longer think that the Board cares about this issue and has moved on. Judging by recent board meetings, they are more interested in patting each other on the back at every chance they get. I'm here speaking to other teachers, parents, and hopefully journalists. We have a school district that is behind on contact tracing. The district might be months behind on contact tracing. The DISD COVID tracker is also behind. Teachers are being shamed and discouraged by leadership for listing staff that they were in contact with if they test positive. This is happening because schools are short on staff. Admins would rather take risk and keep staff on campus who have been in contact with a positive case. The in-person kids are with substitutes, and parents don't even know it. Sometimes in-person students don't even have a substitute and are with a teacher's assistant. And yet there's a rush by the district and school admin to get kids to school as if it is some ideal learning place. If staffing is such an issue, drop time-consuming TEI observation requirements and have admin teams come in as substitutes. This statement was made by a teacher who has witnessed these issues at their school. It is absolutely unconscionable that not only is the district refusing to return to virtual instruction when Dallas County regularly has over 1,000 cases and some days clears 2,000, but that at some schools, admins are being told to actually encourage and pressure more students to return in person. The district is proactively trying to put its students in greater danger. The students it claims to prioritize and care about. The district cares more about how good some numbers look on paper, grades, scores, than about the lives of its students and employees and their families. There will undoubtedly be a spike in cases after winter break, along with people starting to get lax with safety measures due to the vaccine that will not be widely distributed for months. DISD must start all virtual after winter break until safety for our students and staff can be ensured. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Kevin Hopper.
Good evening. I'm a teacher in District 3, a voter in District 2. First, I would like to thank my colleagues Diane Birdwell, Vicky Tillery, and Ramon Chavez for participating in the Moderna vaccine trial and helping us move one step closer to overcoming this tragic pandemic. I'm speaking to you today because I understand there is a disconnect between the information that is provided to board members and what is actually going on in the schools. Each day, the crisis intensifies. All around me, teachers and students are getting sick. As of this week, I was the last person remaining in my wing of the school not forced to quarantine due to either being COVID positive or from being exposed to someone COVID positive. Up until this most recent breakout in my campus, our teachers and staff members were being either forced or coerced to attend in-person PLCs and ARDs. Now all of a sudden we don't have enough staff members to cover classes. Each period, teachers and subs are scrambling to figure out how to absorb other teachers' classes into their own. This is making the social distancing and safety protocols we do have in place even more difficult to maintain. Furthermore, While I am sure well-intentioned, in-person Flex Day boot camps of any kind need to have a moratorium until we are past this pandemic period. These are super spreader events where hundreds of students are invited onto campus for hours at a time. During these intervention boot camps, social distancing becomes impossible and safety protocols such as seating charts for contact tracing get thrown out the window. Kids are shuffled around from room to room or must crowd into a cafeteria while dozens of teachers rotate through to help them on their assignments. This type of risky behavior is unacceptable during a pandemic and puts the whole community at risk. Lastly, communication about positive cases on campuses is sorely lacking, and the district obviously does not have enough contact tracers to handle the number of cases we are experiencing in the district. People are returning to work, exposing others after being exposed to COVID-19 through someone else because they themselves had not been notified in a timely manner. I am sure our contact tracers are doing the best they can, but the case numbers are overwhelming and we do not have the infrastructure to handle it. It is time we close the schools and revert back to 100% remote instruction until the vaccine is safely rolled out and available to the community. We have done the best we can to serve our students during the pandemic, but at this point, we don't even have enough healthy people on the campuses to do that. Enough is enough. No more gaslighting regarding our safety and physical well-being. No more water bottles showing how much Dallas ISD appreciates us. No more video tips with how to relax. Do the right thing, shut it down. Furthermore, we really need to be considering a return to virtual instruction when until these metrics are met. With 2 weeks declining cases, 5% positivity rate, transmission rate of less than 1%, and a return to the hold harmless policy adopted regarding TEI in spring 2020. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Christina Childress.
Hello. I'm Christina Childress, a parent of 3 children in DISD and founding member of Parent Advocates for Children and Teachers. Back at the beginning of the school year, there was a lot of talk of prioritizing safety and fighting back against the state if they required in-person school when it wasn't safe. Several months in, and we're seeing that those were empty words. Morale for teachers is dangerously low, but it's completely understandable. I also wanted to be sure that any teachers and school staff listening hear that there are parents who care for your health and safety more than our children's sense of normalcy in the classroom for one school year. You matter. You are not expendable. You're giving our kids so much of yourselves, and so many of you also have your own families who are also sacrificing their time with you so that you can do that for our kids. As a parent, I want you to hear that we are so thankful for all you're doing, but we don't want you to kill yourselves for our kids' sake. We want you to be okay. You are more than our kids' teachers and nurses and bus drivers. You're human beings who deserve to work in a safe environment that doesn't demand you sacrifice your mental and physical health to serve others. Over the last few months, I've watched as the numbers on the district dashboard continue to rise into the thousands, listened to teachers and school nurses share their fears and concerns and hopelessness at being forced into an unsafe working environment. I've seen the data from our county continue to rise, reaching an all-time high yesterday of over 2,400 new cases in a single day. And as I take in all of this information, I wonder what the district is doing to protect teachers, students, and school staff. Is leadership encouraging families who can keep their kids home to keep them there while numbers are this high? Are they providing adequate PPE, especially for school nurses? On that note, does every campus actually have a school nurse? I want to ask you all to examine in your hearts why more moves haven't been made to protect our teachers and school staff who are most vulnerable to this virus. I get the sense that there's an attitude of what else can we do while teachers are continuing to put their lives at risk every day with minimal support. There's a lot more that can be done, and we're all here just waiting for you to use the positions that you have to do it. Teachers have died, been hospitalized, been overworked, and underpaid, and it's truly shameful that they've not had the support and safety they deserve through all of this. They do not need to be martyrs in order to keep test scores high and keep state dollars rolling in. They need to be heard. They need to have autonomy in their classrooms and flexibility to teach from home if that's where they feel most safe. At the very least, they need to be paid more. A COVID bonus like Fort Worth ISD would be a start, and have their evaluations for the year put on pause along with standardized testing. My final ask is that at the very least, you would require 100% virtual learning for at least 2 weeks after winter break. You know as well as I do that people are going to travel and disregard social distancing measures, and national health advisors predict record highs across the country. Requiring teachers and staff to go back into a school building at that time is guaranteeing more people will get sick unnecessarily. We don't have subs to fill in, and countless classrooms will have to quarantine as a result, so why not preemptively require virtual learning for at least 2 weeks and save some lives? Thank you.
Thank you. Our last speaker is Ana Nunez.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
I assume so. Okay, cool. Hi, everyone. My name is Anita Nunez. I am the wife of a current Dallas ISD teacher. I used to teach at Dallas ISD in pre-K, and my mom is a teacher, and I have a lot of teacher friends. Aside from that, I also work in the community, and I work primarily with high school kids from Dallas ISD. And so I'm here to share some of the concerns I've been hearing over the past, I don't know, how many months has it been? I don't remember. But as my husband told me earlier today, we're nearing 310,000 deaths and 7 million cases in the United States. 17 million. Oops, my bad. And I'm honestly, y'all, like, I'm bored. I'm bored of having to come on here and say this every single time. It's like, and I'm sure y'all are bored of hearing us saying the same things. This is ridiculous that y'all would rather put people's lives at stake than potentially lose funding. And Dallas ISD is revered all across Texas and sometimes even the nation. So they're looking towards y'all to set a good example. We need to close down schools immediately. At the very least, close them down after the new year. People are dying. People are getting sick, right? I've met so many students who have gone through COVID, and they're also going through mental health crises more than I've ever seen before. Like, y'all need to step up. The reason why y'all got elected is that you're supposed to represent the people in your constituency, and y'all are not doing that. We have been out here talking over and over, teachers, students, parents, community members. We've been telling you what we want. We want to be safe. We want to not die and risk our lives. And I know that y'all sacrifice a lot to be in the positions where you're at because y'all aren't getting paid for it. And I get that. But still, y'all were voted on with the trust of the community that you would do what you needed to do for us. And you have showed time and time again that that's not what you're doing. I don't know how else to say it. Like, I don't know how, do you want me to write like a dissertation for y'all so you can see like what y'all's action and inaction is doing? Again, Ginny said it in August, and I said it in like October, and I'm saying it again. There is blood on y'all's hands, right? So do the right thing, please. We're urging you, we're demanding, please do the right thing. We want what's best for these students and these kids and the families, and what's best for them is to stop putting their lives at risk. Thank you.
Thank you. This concludes our speakers.
Thank you, Ms. Grant, and thank you to all of our speakers this evening. The board is now going to retire to closed session. The public and staff are welcome to stay connected to Zoom while the board leaves the meeting to attend the closed session. The public portion of the meeting will resume after closed session. The board will retire to closed session pursuant to Texas Government Code Section 551, considering any and all purposes permitted by the Act, including but not limited to the following sections. Texas Government Code Sections 551.071 for private consultation with its attorneys about pending, well, that has been pulled. Texas Government Code Sections 551.074 to deliberate the appointment, employment, evaluation, reassignment, duties, discipline, or dismissal of a public officer or employer, or to hear a complaint or charge against an officer or employee, including the superintendent's employee contract. The time is now 7:29 and the board's in closed session. Welcome back. It's 7:51. We're returning from closed session. The board did not take any action in closed session. We're moving on to section 6.01 to approve the minutes submitted for approval. The following minutes have been submitted for approval. Called board meeting December 3rd, 2020. Board meeting November 19th, 2020. Called board meeting November 16th, 2020. Audit committee meeting November 12th, 2020. Superintendent's evaluation ad hoc committee meeting November 11th, 2020, Superintendent's Evaluation Ad Hoc Committee meeting, October 29th, 2020. Do I have a motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Trustee Flores, second by Trustee Marshall. Trustees, are there any corrections? Not hearing any. Trustees, will you please cast your votes? Trustee Garcia, will you please cast your vote audibly?
Garcia votes yes.
The motion passes 8-0.
Thank you, trustees. You've just adopted the motion approving the minutes as submitted. See, next item will be 7.01. That's been pulled off the agenda. The item's not ready to discuss. We're going to go on to item 8.01, which is the consent agenda items. Consider and take possible action to approve consent agenda items 8.01 through 8.45 as amended. The following agenda items have been pulled for a separate vote: 8.06, 8.09, 8.11, 8.18, 8.23, 8.26, 8.27, 8.28, 8.39, and 8.40. I want to give the trustees an opportunity to add those back to the consent agenda items if they feel like their questions have been answered. Okay, I've not heard anything. Do I have a motion on the consent agenda as amended?
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Trustee Flores, second by Trustee Marshall. Trustees, will you please cast your votes? Trustee Garcia, will you vote audibly?
Garcia votes yes.
The motion passes 9-0.
Thank you, trustees.